Welcome to our first live morning broadcast. Join me Monday through Friday, every weekday morning for a stocks, indices, market watch list. So, in this video, in this series, this new series that I'm starting, I'm going to help those that are transitioning from Forex and futures to stocks by allowing you to watch me build my game plan. And this is going to be a new series that's going to help the community. The style of trading that I use every day is I use a method where I'm searching for stocks that are moving 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200% on the day. So you'll see me looking for the hottest stocks every day, those that have catalysts, those that have unusual volume, and you can learn a lot from joining these sessions. So drop a like, subscribe, show some love in the comment section, and yeah, just get ready for this new series. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with the overall broader market, right? We'll look at SPYs, the Qs, IWM, and we'll talk about macro catalysts, CPI, inflation data, interest data, if there are any geopolitical issues that will impact stocks. And then we'll dive into individual stocks, right? What are the hot stocks? For example, crypto is hot because Trump, he just said that he's going to put a mandate that would make crypto, that would elevate the status of crypto, right? So let's jump right into it. Again, like and subscribe, share with others, and you're going to enjoy this series. Give me your feedback. So let's jump right into the charts here. All right. All right. So let's take a look at, we'll look at the SPYs first. All right. So what's going on in the overall market? So for the primary, like beginning of January, we've been in a range, and we had some selling off, and then inflation data came in much cooler than expected. So that pushed us back into the range, right? Underneath indices, the companies are pretty strong. Growth is strong. Earnings have been pretty good. So there's no reason for us to look at indices selling off. So we may stay within that range, and that's characteristic of all of the indices at the moment, from the big caps to the small cap indices, IWM. Now, what am I trading? What's hot right now? Okay, so I'm going to be looking at, if you look at Bitcoin, for example. So Bitcoin has been moving, and it crossed 100K yesterday, and so we'll see a lot of the stocks that move when Bitcoin move, like Mara, right? Traded it several times last year, especially when we had the big run up, right? So we'll see Mara, MSTR gapping up and rallying, right? Coin. So the crypto related stocks are can be in play for us right now. They have more volume. They gapped up from the close yesterday, so they're hot. So I'll be, if you want to look at a stock that is lower priced, Mara is a good one for you. It's, about $20. Otherwise, you're looking at MSTR, Coin, and there's a few other plays that we could take there. Okay. Now, what else is hot? The quantum names, right? So quantum had a rally, it had a run last year, December. It ran up, and then, but something it sold off, and then it rallied again. But last week, Nvidia's CEO made a statement about quantum that caused a massive drop and then selling. Then it hit a point where it bottomed out, so we were buying it for a few days, buying the quantum names, QUBT, RGTI, IONQ, and then they started to sell off yesterday, right? So they've come back to a support level. Either we break and then there's more selling here, or there's a recovery. So if you look at IONQ, it actually didn't push down. It's still leading, right? RGTI it didn't quite push down like you had with QUBT. So we normally, if there's a theme that's hot, what I'll be doing is I'll be looking at the theme. I know that there's unusual volume. I know that there's interest, and once I know that the stock is hot, I'll look at price action, look at volume, look at the level 2, look at the tape, and then I'll make a decision, right? So Mara, MSTR, coin, because of Bitcoin, those are in play. The quantum names are still in play. They've been giving us a lot of play. So either whether you're on the long side or the short side, we're keeping those on the table. So so you have within the quantum names, I'll just run them down. I won't go through all of them. They have different prices. You'll have to look at the tape, look at the relative volume, and to see which one will be the one to trade at the market open. So you have the QUBT, RGTI, QBTS, IONQ, and QSI, and you have a few others. Okay, all right. So now, what are some others that are in play or that have fresh news today, right? So my game plan will consist of those that have fresh news. They have their own catalysts. You see good float rotation, meaning that the supply that's available, the amount of shares to trade that's available, you see that turning over 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, right? So I'll be looking for those. And then it'll consist of, stocks that are a part of a theme, right? We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about the quantum names, right? At one point, robotics names were in play, like Serve, for example. Serve, this one was rallying, and it had, I think it was a deal with, let's see, what was it? There was there was a contract, and $80 million offering, right? So not only was robotics that industry booming, and several names were booming related to robotics, but Serve had its own catalyst, right? So that was one that we had. So we saw rallying on Serve. We saw a push started to bottom out here on Tuesday, rallied on Wednesday. Yesterday it fell and then recovered. So just kind of have that one on the back burner. But a few names. The scanner was kind of light today. I use trade ideas primarily, and what I had on the list is here. So let's take a look. So NUKK, Nucleus, this one popped after regaining compliance. So this type of catalyst, it's not like a long-term catalyst, especially when, if we look at the daily, the stock popped and it's just been on a downtrend because of several issues. Now, it popped, broke several daily levels. So now, yesterday, the post-market, it popped here, established a swing point, and now it's pulling back. So what could happen is we pull back, maybe we get a bounce, or we get a break of, we get a recovery of this level of VWAP, right? We get VWAP here, it reclaims VWAP. So we'll see, right? As of right now, though, this pre-market has been pretty hot. The float rotation looks really good. Relative volume is extremely high right now at the moment. So NUKK is on the list. Another one that has been booming this morning, not sure if it's going to turn over, is VS, Versus Systems. So this is a gaming company, and they expanded operations into Brazil. Now, again, during this series, you're going to see how I grade catalysts, right? Like company earnings, that's a big one, because if a company has been like quarter over quarter increasing its earnings, generally those plays work very well, especially after earnings if there's a gap. For this one, it broadcasts, or put out a PR, a a newsletter that they're expanding into Brazil, but there aren't specific numbers being discussed, right? So this one, again, a lot of volume right now. So we'll see what happens. Like great float rotation, great activity in the pre-market here around where pre-market trading started with most brokers here, rally, but now it's falling, right? So this may rally up and then turn over. So this may be a short, right? So we'll see. Again, I'm not here to predict the market. The stocks that have catalysts and unusual volume, they add a level of predictability because those are generally there's a structural edge here. Structural edge is when you have a catalyst, like post catalyst announcement, there's a drift, right? There's going to be some price discovery. So that if we focus on those types of stocks, then that gives us the ability to find those that are going to have potential skew, bullish or bearish, right? Those that have unusual volume, that means there's more interest, more trading, right? So those are typically, that's a higher volume is characteristic of a stock that's going to move as well, right? So once we find them, we still have to rely on our price action and tape reading and level 2 skills, but this puts us in a better position. And then we also have to find a setup, right? So if we don't see a setup, then we're out. We wait, okay? All right. So here, let's continue. Now, the funny thing is, I can't see the chat. so I can't see the chat. This is the very first one, so forgive me. Let me see if I can pop this up real quick and look. There we go. I see the chat here. So talk to me. All right. So my group, the ProfitX team, ProfitX group, our private community is here in the house. So y'all talk to me. Y'all drop some fire signs. I can see the chat now. So I'll be talking to y'all. Yeah. So I can see the chat now. And let me see. Okay. All right. There we go. So we are good. We are good. Okay. Here we go. All right. So let's see. Early bird catch the worm. All right. Is it morning over there? Yes, it is 8:14 a.m. The market opens in 16 minutes. Okay. So I see Playmaker. I see Demi. I see Patrick. I see Amir. All right. I see Tunde. Let's go. Good morning. Which websites do you use for news about stock press releases? Okay. So actually, TradingView it's a really good source. You know, there's several different news sources that you can pay for that deliver news fast. I use Vital Knowledge for summaries. There's Trade the News. Some of these are more expensive, but if you just start off with with TradingView, that's a great place to start. So I would start there. Once you pull up, one of these stocks, what you'll see is here, you hit the button, the bubble here, and then you can find pretty good news reports. And I'll do some more videos on that in the future. Okay. All right. So let's do it. What else do you want me to take a look at? Talk to me. What are y'all looking at? I have a few more, and then we're going to close out and get ready. We have about 15 minutes until the market opens. I'll cover that. I'll cover what I'm looking at. I'll finish that out. But what are you looking at? Talk to me. What else do you want me to take a look at? I have 2 more stocks that I'm going to cover quickly. And if I don't see anything from you guys, then we'll go ahead and close out. So Intel Corporation. All right. So this is fresh news. Okay. There's speculations of an M&A deal. Okay. So M&A deals, they'll move stocks, right? So we see push up. It's up about 10% now. Push, little micro pullback, and buys here. Okay. So this one when it comes to fresh news, will be on the top of the list here for me. Okay, so that's one that I take a look at. That'll be in our game plan. All right, now let's talk about DJT. DJT is a purely it's this play is based on Donald Trump having his inauguration next week. And we saw a monthly rally range here, and it was recently broken. Okay, so this is about a month that was recently broken. So what is that? These contexts lining up. You have Trump's inauguration. You have the monthly range breakout. So that signals to us that there's more interest, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look and see if we can find an entry. If volume is good, relative, we're going to check our relative volume indicators as well, and we'll see if we can structure an entry. If price is just to break 42 here, that's going to be interesting, right? When I traded it earlier this week, this was TP. Now price has it's broken that level. It's trading. You can trade between 41 and 42 now. So even if we have a pullback here, we'll be looking for an entry. Or if it does break, then that'll be good. That'll be a good sign of interest. Okay. All right. So let me see. RGTI. Yes, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Since we talked about it earlier, what I will say is that the quantum names are in play. So either we bounce or we see sell off, right? So we'll have to judge once the market opens. Okay. All right. ZEO. So yeah, I was taking a look at ZEO, and let me see. So float rotation is good. I just couldn't find a catalyst for it. I was looking to see if there's anything going on in the energy sector. So, but I couldn't really find anything. So I put it on the back burner for now. What I would do is set alarms with it, and if it starts to break levels that have been formed, then I'll take a look at it. I couldn't see anything on any news for it, so this could be one that runs up and then it fades here. Okay, all right. So let's see. What else do we have? Amir, what are your thoughts on KPLT, Zeke, FSI? Yeah, so FSI, right now, the volume is extremely low. That's why I look spotty right now. If it changes at the market open, then I'll participate. If not, won't do anything. Okay, so the float is 8 million, and the total volume traded right now is 54K, right? So too low for us right now. But let's look at one of the other ones that you shouted out, IBRX, immunity. So let's see. This one looks like we'll have liquidity issues with this one potentially. So yeah, 19 million float, 25K. Let's see what the catalyst is. Okay. Yeah. So again, this one, Greg, what scanner? The scanner that I use is Trade Ideas. You can get 15% off, like if you use my code. So those things support the scan. But if you use Thinkorswim, TradingView has one as well. But it's just nice. PRZO has a really good catalyst, so take a look at that one. If you want to. That one has a really good catalyst. It's a Ministry of Defense contract. All right. Okay. So for what broker do you suggest for non-U.S. traders? One of the most reputable brokers is Interactive Brokers. So that's one that's reputable. If you're trying to go for I think their account minimum is 2K. It's not homogeneous. That's a word. That's the first word that came to mind. Across all countries, they have different standards, right, for different countries. But I think the account minimum may be 2K for non-U.S. traders. If you need to go like 1K, there's a company called Zimtra that you can use. And for the $500 challenge, I'm using Capital Markets Elite Group. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Talk to me. We got a little bit of time. I'm going to drop in about 2 minutes so we can get ready for live trading. BTCT. Yeah. So this one, I have a, we BTCT. This one, Chinese stock. It'll run up. There won't be a catalyst, and so I'll just ignore it. Like, okay, so this back in November. Back in November, it started to run. I really didn't pay attention to it, but I just couldn't ignore it. So let's look at the volume right now. Yeah, volume is pretty good. I don't have a catalyst right now, but if we do start to run and start to break levels, then I will trade it. Right, so I'll just keep an eye on it. Okay, I'll keep an eye on it. All right, so let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. Do you think NASDAQ will go down on opening bell? It has to go up until now. It has gone up until now. So the thing about the Qs, this thing is exploding. Okay, let's see. So when you think about indices, you want to look at the companies underneath. Okay. So the top companies that are underneath, like, what are they doing? That's how you want to think about it. So these macro catalysts like inflation, interest rates, all that kind of stuff, those will drive the overall indices, because the big investors, they trade the large caps because they have massive amounts of money, hedge funds, massive, institutions. So if you see it running up, it'll be nice to see look at the market internals, when the bell opens. If market internals opens up at 2000 at the extremes, then it's likely that we may continue higher. If we gap down on market internals, like at the lows, a negative 2000, then you're looking at it probably will go down, right? So market internals is a good indicator to use, but look at the Nvidias, look at the Teslas, right? Look at the top companies. If they're on the rise, I didn't cover Tesla just because it's more pricey stock, but Tesla is definitely something that's been in our game plan. We talked about it yesterday. It dumped yesterday and then it turned. So NASDAQ will not go down if Tesla is rising, Nvidia is rising, right? So that's something to just keep in mind when you're asking those questions, right? So, all right, last one, PLTR, and then we'll close this out. So PLTR, also, it ran up and it bottomed out, and it's been, yesterday was in play, rallied, sold off, and then it's turning now. So I'll have PLTR on the list, looking at levels here to see if it breaks or if we get a pullback for another bounce. Okay. All right. So I hope this was beneficial for the group that. Let me see. What do you like about Trade Ideas Scanner? There's a lot of customizations with Trade Ideas, and it keeps all of your scanners in one place. The TradingView scanner is a little bit harder to use just because you can only have one up at a time. So when you have the screener up, okay, the market's about to open. Let's get to it. Let me just talk to you real quick. Yeah. So when you have the screener up with so when you have the screener up with Trade Ideas or with TradingView, you can only have one up at a time, right? But when you have the screener up with Trade Ideas, you can have all these different scanners up at one time, right? And it's easy to customize. That's what I like about it. Okay. All right. So we're going to drop, and we will be back on Tuesday. The market is closed on Monday, so we will be back on Tuesday. Please like and subscribe. Share this with others. This is a new series. Tell me what you liked about it. Give me some feedback. And to the Profit X group, I will see you in the Discord. Now, let's get busy. Let's make some money today. All right. Hope you have a great day. Talk to y'all later.